Hello, you wonderful person. Today we're going to be talking about Venn diagrams. Spelled like this, pronounced Venn diagram. Um, and so Venn diagrams are a graphical or picture representation of relationship between different things. Your traditional Venn diagram looks like this, where that represents one category of one category, one group. And then this next circle represents a different category or group. And in this part over here, this area is stuff that only belongs to the red circle or in category red. This stuff over here in this area is stuff that's only in category blue. And the stuff in the middle is stuff that falls into both categories. Let's give an example. Let's say that this here in red, we'll call this the category liquid. And we'll call this blue over here, this is category of things that are clear. Okay. So this area over here is stuff that is liquid, but is not in the blue category, so therefore not clear. And stuff over here on the right is stuff that is clear, but is not in the red circle, so therefore not a liquid. And stuff right here in the middle is stuff that is both a liquid and it's clear. So this part in the middle, which we'll call the overlap part, is both liquid and clear. So an example would be like here, a liquid that is not clear. This might be where milk would fall in. Over here, something that's clear but not a liquid. Glass is clear but not a liquid. And here in the middle would be stuff like water, which is both liquid and clear. So this is just your stereotypical Venn diagram, where there's an overlap part, and then the part that's stuff just in this category, part that's just in this category. Personally, I have a hard time drawing circles, as you can see. So sometimes instead, I like to draw the same Venn diagram, but just using squares or rectangles, just because I personally find it easier to draw rectangles. And on top of that, I find that you have much more space in order to actually write stuff. But this is basically the exact same Venn diagram as the other one. You have a part that's just in red, part that's just in blue, and then the part in the middle here is the part that overlaps. Okay. So this is your stereotypical Venn diagram. Let's talk about other sorts of ways you can represent these different categories. You can also make Venn diagrams where there is no overlap. So for example, you can have this category here, and then have another category, and here you're saying that the relationship between these two categories is that there is no overlap between them. So there is nothing that falls into both categories. Example might be like, let's say this orange box here are odd numbers, And this green category over here are even numbers. And I did not have there be any overlap between them because there is no number that is both even and odd. Okay. So these are your most simple types of Venn diagrams showing different relationships. Let's get into possibly some couple of different relationships that you can demonstrate using Venn diagrams. So, all right. So, what's another possible relationship you can show using Venn diagrams? Okay, well, you can actually put the Venn diagrams completely inside of one another. So, you can have one big box. And then inside that one big box, you can put another box in it. This says that everything that falls into this purple category also falls into the larger green category, but there are some things in the green category that is not in the purple category. Let's give an example here. Let's say the big green category is fruits, and this smaller purple category is types of apples. So, for example, in here you might have the red delicious apple, the Fuji apple, the different types. So Fuji is an apple, so falls into the apple category, but is also inside the fruits, so that's why it's in here. So everything that is an apple is also a fruit. So that's why the apple category is completely inside of the fruit category. So here, example, we might have Fuji, but then over here, these are fruits that are not apples. So here it'd be your bananas, your oranges, things like that. Okay. So this is what having a Venn diagram where one thing is inside the other. Okay. Continuing. Those three right there that I just showed you are the most common types of ways to represent different categories, the relationship between categories. You can have like super complicated stuff as well. There's nothing that says we can only put in two boxes or two circles. You can have as many as you want. So for example, you can have something like 3 different rings. And here this says that that there is overlap between these two categories. There is overlap between these two categories, but there is no overlap between the green category and this gray category over here. Let's give an example. Like, let's say that this red category in the middle is cars. And let's say that this green category is things with 2 doors. And this gray category over here is things with 4 doors. So here, an example of something that, if you have something over here, these are things that are 2 doors, but not a car and not 4 doors. So for example, my apartment. My apartment has 2 cars, 2 doors. Sure, an example here is just my apartment. Okay, here is things that have 2 doors and is a car. There's actually like a word for this. This thing is called a coupe. Is a type of car. If you see a car with only 2 doors, it is a coupe. Then here, cars, that do not have 2 doors and do not have 4 doors. So cars that have more than that many number of doors. There's this thing called a hatchback, and many times it is considered to have 3 doors. A car that has 3 doors. 4-door cars are called sedans. And in here are things with 4 doors, but not a car. I'm sure there are rooms in the school that have 4 doors, but is not a car. So that's what would go into this category over here. And you could have 3 different rings as well, where it has more areas of overlap. So for example, maybe we can have something like as you can see, this is why I don't prefer the rectangles, because my circles come out like this. And let's just say this is category C, category B, category A. So in this area is where there's A and C. This area over here is stuff that only falls in the category A. The stuff over here only falls in category C. Over here, this area is inside the red and green circle. So we're talking about that falling in the category B and C. This stuff over here falling only category B. This stuff over here falling in category B and A. And anything that goes here in the middle falls into both category A, B, and C. So as you can see, there's lots of different things that you can do with these different relationships you can show with these Venn diagrams. And you can include all of them into one giant Venn diagram even. So you could have one giant category. We'll call this D. Inside D, there could be this category E, which, since we're putting E inside of D, we're saying that everything that is E also falls in the category D. We can even have another one inside of that one. Category G. And then we can have something over here, category F. We're saying there's no overlap between category F and E, but every F is also a D category thing. These last two over here that we just did, that's getting quite a bit more complicated. For the assignment that you are going to be doing today, all you really need is these first couple of categories that we talked about. So if you just understood these where there's one area of overlap or there's 0 areas of overlap, and you also understood this one over here where there is one category inside another category. With that much information or understanding that much, you're able to create the Venn diagram you're going to need for your assignment. All right. Hope that was helpful, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.